Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Sometimes I struggle around the word another. I can't get all those syllables out. Anyways, this was sent to me by Artisan Cutlery. Thank you so much, Artisan Cutlery, for sending this in. I have no idea what it is. I'm sure they told me and I forgot. Either way, I will link it right down below in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Okay, what do we got? Let's find out. Artisan Cutlery, just like I thought. Can't slip anything past me, especially when you put Artisan Cutlery on the shipping information on the outside. Not a super heavy package, pouch. Let's find out. What do we have? Ah, yes, of course. I do remember this, of course, because I have reviewed it. Or not this exact version, but I have reviewed the original, the Satyr. Now in optional micarta with a titanium frame lock side. So we have pure micarta on one side, titanium pocket clip, beautiful textured titanium over here. Almost as I remember it. Give me one moment here and I'm going to make a point real quick. All right, so I dug my original Satyr out right here. I did keep this one. I very much like the Satyr or Satyr, or however you want to say it. It doesn't, whatever the correct pronunciation is, I don't really care. I want to make this point here. Let me start off by saying that this model is very, very good. And, you know, right off the bat, I can tell you that this version does feel a little bit lighter. Not crazy, a little bit lighter. I feel like there's some pretty good milling going on in there. The action feels the same. It's very good. It's very easy to actuate. The ergonomics on this knife are very good. They have kept this as S90V, which is great. From what I remember, Artisan Cutlery is able to do a very good job with S90V. Now, let's take a look here. Truthfully, okay, so here's something that I bring up a lot. They have a sand polished finish, which I think is very, very good. If this was the first time that I had seen this finish, I would finish. I mixed up the word spinach and finish. If this was the first time that I guess I'm thinking about spinach. If this is the first time I've ever seen this finish, I would say, wow, this looks very good. And it does. I don't want to take away from this. But it's something I've been stressing a lot. There is a difference between the very best, you can see me a little bit, and it's not much. I think maybe I got a little bit dramatic starting off here, but I think it's more visible on this side. What is blinking in my camera there? Can we see that? What's that little purple light over there? That's weird. You can see it. It's the reflectivity on this side is a little better than on this side. Can you see? Like, I feel like you can see me a little bit better on the right than on the left. They do a good job. Either way, when you get a knife from Artisan Cutlery that has this sand polish on it, or sand wash, is that what they call it? It looks good. It is very much, for the most part, save for one or two times, it is easily distinguishable from their standard belt satin finish, which, not just with Artisan Cutlery, but with the knife world in general, I am supremely bored of. I will go out of my way to get any finish other than belt satin, because I just am so bored with it. But Artisan Cutlery does a good job with this sand polish. This, to this day, remains to be the very best example of their sand wash finish. Basically eliminating all but a few of these, I don't know, these finish lines, these grind lines, right? This is a beautiful example of what they're capable of doing. Now, I've received other knives that are very close, and truthfully, I would give this, if I was going to say this is 10 out of 10, I would say this is like 9 out of 10. It's really close and definitely much better than a belt satin finish. Occasionally, I've received knives that are kind of like lower than both or somewhere in between that are still labeled as sand polish or sand wash. And one time I got a sand polish blade that was basically the same as a belt satin finish. I want Artisan Cutlery to figure out how to do this finished consistently. I am happy that once I, wiped the blade off, I was about to say this is nowhere near the same. Once I wiped the blade off, it looked a little bit better. But if I can point out, Artisan Cutlery, this area right here, a little ugly compared to this area right here on this blade. This is real clean, right? This blade is very clean. Oh, it looks so good, right? We're coming up on that finish that like Spyderco does for the Paysan, right? That's really nice. I don't know what needs to happen to eliminate a lot of these extra lines, but it just looks so much better, and it really helps drive the value home. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think the price of this one is too far off of this one, or it wasn't planned to be. It's going to be a little hard for some people to choke down, considering we're looking at full titanium on this guy, we're looking at micarta on this guy, right? So if you want to drive that home, you really got to get this finish, which helps these knives stand out from their competition. We got to get this nailed down and very, very consistent. I still think this is very good. Artisan Cutlery does a good frame lock, right? It's not something that I'm worried about disengaging under normal circumstances. We've got contouring here. We still have textured titanium. Looks really good. I like this model a lot. I just want to see continued consistency. As far as action goes, mine's a little bit more broken in, and that's because I've carried and used this knife quite a bit. And I'm happy to say, after using this knife, I know people say, that's too clean. And why doesn't it have lawnmower debris all over it if you've been using it? Because I clean my knives off. And if the finish is good enough, and I'm not trying to cut through pure hardened concrete, then the blade's not going to show an enormous amount of wear, right? Cardboard and things like that's not really going to do much to the blade, which I'll give an example of, actually. Not really going to do a whole lot to the blade if you're just cutting things like cardboard. A little bit of debris, right, from a cut like that will simply come off. So don't give me that, all right? And it's a good idea to clean your blades anyway. Yeah, I'm happy to say that the edge retention on these knives seems to be pretty good. I'm not taking knives out and testing them extensively enough to really be able to know, and I don't have Rockwell testing equipment, but from what I understand, they're doing a good job, and it seems to be the case. So, this is a good knife. I think the value is definitely good for the full titanium version. If I'm correct about the pricing that they have applied to this new micarta version, okay, but you got to get stuff like the finish really, really good. And this is really, it is good. It's just, I've already been exposed to this. I've already seen how good this finish can be, right? And so I can't help but compare every month. Sorry, I'm trying to get fingerprints and stuff off of it so I can drive my point home. I can't help but compare every single model that you send me with the sand polish finish to the best that I have seen. I want to hold this to the highest standard that I have experienced, right? And I also know that you guys are capable of doing a mirror polish because I have that knife that you sent me a while back. I mean, given that was like a super special, like custom, it had like the Timascus and everything. So I know you guys can do that. So whatever the process is for this, right, for the sand wash finish, this is pretty good. But I'd love it if they all looked like this. I want to know why this one looks so much better, right? This is probably Artisan Cutlery's best value knife that they have released. It's one of, I think it's honestly like my favorite or one of my favorites, right? Easily top 5. I got to go back. I've got 4,000 uploads, so I'd have to go back and check, right? Just off the top of my head, it's definitely one of my favorites. Titanium, subtly contoured, textured pocket clip, backspacer, high polished S90V for, am I mistaken, about 200? It's a pretty good price. Pretty good price, right? So, I like the idea of micarta. I don't love the idea of keeping the price the same. And I'm not the biggest fan of seeing such crazy variations in the finish. I understand that I'm repeating myself over and over again, but when I get my hands on something that is one of my favorites from a particular brand, and it's lackluster, even just by a couple of ticks, it's something I got to point out. So this is cool. Maybe you pick one up and it's exactly the same as this one. I don't think I'm crazy. I feel like this one has a better finish on it. You guys tell me what you think. This is cool, though. I'm happy they sent it to me. I've already reviewed this knife, so this will likely end up as something that I give away in the future. Friday night live streams, that's usually when I do that. Anyways, Thanks again to Artisan Cutlery. I will still link this model down in the description. You guys can check it out if you want. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.